Hello viewers, Maryann here, revealing light, tarot, astrology and spirituality wherever you are in the world when you're watching. A huge shout out to you. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscriptions in any way that you support this channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Last video I said I had a sneaking suspicion that Elon Musk would start to turn away, go against Donald Trump. And of course, within a day or two, maybe 2 days later, he's given an interview where he's been highly critical of the budget bill, joining other GOP senators as well. I think there's 4 there that have come out and said they can't vote for it in the way that it is. Many of you brought up a rule that any sort of policy stuff can't be passed with a simple reconciliation budget bill. It has to be financial. Well, I think they've tied the trying to take away contempt powers to wording it in such a way that courts can't use government funding if they're going in contempt of the government. Let's just stop and listen to what that actually means. We are going to take away your funding if you go against us. Okay, so that's my feeling is that comes out of the final bill. I was quite surprised. I thought that it, like everything else, it would just go through unabated. But the cards were, fairly definite that that contempt, taking away the court's contempt powers, would not fly. I really hope I'm right on that. There's a lot in that bill that even the House reps didn't know, because they didn't read the entire 1,000 pages, and so they're getting crucified in town halls. It's a bloody mess, isn't it? All right, so today I want to look at Harvard versus Trump. By the way, we've got a new name that we can use, so as we don't have to use his name, certainly in headlines, which always attracts the trolls, and that is Taco. So what that is Trump always chickens out. It's been coined by the stock market. Investors are making money. Every time he announces a tariff on someone, they will then game the stock market on that, knowing that he's going to reverse it, and people have made a lot of money off that. And again, the card said that was that he was doing that, and so were his cronies. Now, interesting story came across AP, Associated Press, right now, just before I've come on, and a federal trade court has blocked Trump from imposing sweeping tariffs under emergency powers law. I don't know where that goes from there, whether it goes up to the Supreme Court. This is a fairly specialised court. Let me just read you for first paragraph from Associated Press today. A federal trade court on Wednesday blocked President Donald Trump from imposing sweeping tariffs on imports under an emergency powers law. The ruling from a 3-judge panel at the New York-based Court of International Trade came after several lawsuits arguing he had exceeded his authority, left US trade policy dependent on his whims, and he'd unleashed economic chaos. At least 7 lawsuits are challenging the levies, which are the centerpiece of Trump's trade policy. Tariffs must typically be approved by Congress. We all knew that. But Trump says he has the power to act because the country's trade deficits amount to a national emergency. He imposed tariffs on most of the countries in the world at one point, sending markets reeling. We know that history. The plaintiffs argued that the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act does not authorise the use of tariffs. Even if it did, they say the trade deficit does not meet the law's requirement that an emergency be triggered by an unusual and extraordinary threat. The US has run a trade deficit with the rest of the world for 49 consecutive years. So the White House is silent on what they might do. I guess it now would go to the Supreme Court. I'm not sure, as this is a federal specialised court, what the direction is from here on in. But as of today, the Federal Trade Court has blocked his use of tariffs. Well, wow! If that sticks, can you imagine businesses who were ruined when he unlawfully put these tariffs on? There's going to be payback time and lots of lawsuits. Okay, so we'll start with Harvard. It's quite serious. The Trump government is trying to control universities. I spent most of my adult years, part-time while I was working. I was always studying. It seemed, over a decade at least. I was studying at universities and also when I left school. So, the pursuit of knowledge is fairly important to me. Free speech is important to me. Again, he's trying to mess with international students, blocking visas, and of course that takes away, it financially hobbles universities, where international students, the high fees that they pay to come and study, really in a way subsidises local or American students. And it's the same situation in Australia. So, of course, that will be fought out in the courts as well. But he's really, really trying to punish Harvard. That's a premier American school. We've heard of it all around the world. What's he trying to do? Reduce higher education in the US to rubble. The same way as Viktor Orban has done in Hungary. Guess what? Hungary is a very poor country as a result. It's regressive, not progressive. And I don't mean that in a political sense. I mean in every sense, economic sense, international, relationships, allies, investment in Hungary. It's a very, very poor country. And we can see why. Okay, so let's have a look. Harvard versus Trump. Harvard versus Trump. Does Harvard win this battle? Taco Trump seems to always chicken out. So let's see. Does Harvard win this battle against Taco? I shouldn't say that. Does Harvard win this battle against Trump? Does Harvard win this battle against Trump? Harvard. It just keeps on. It's getting escalated. Up, is what I'm seeing. And eventually it'll be up to the courts to sort out. Does Harvard win this battle against Trump? I mean, it has to preserve its very essence, doesn't it? And if it bows down to a dictator, it's just going to go up and up and up and up to the courts again. There's a protracted court battle. Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving help. They have introduced free education for anyone that wants to study civics online. So any Americans want to read up on the Constitution and the laws of the land, that they can go and do that at Harvard. They really are settling in. But we've got debt here, so they're obviously financially being hurt. This latest blow with the international students, again, so they're financially suffering, and that's as he intended it, but that wasn't the question in the past. This is connected to something that Harvard has done in the past. Now, I know there's a saying that, they're saying that Barron was rejected. I don't know if it was that. They've come out and said he didn't even apply to Harvard, but there's something that happened to Trump in the past with Harvard. Did he want to go to Harvard? I mean, did someone miss out on getting into Harvard? Does he feel like he's not part of that Harvard elite because it has its roots in the past? Maybe it's also part of the legal, this whole retribution stuff. They churn out the lawyers that prosecuted him, the judges that prosecuted him. It's personal here. Now, it's financial stability, which will determine this. I would hope that, private donors can get on board and help Harvard, because this is what will determine whether they win or they lose. The Queen of Cups, that's care. They're looking after themselves. They're doing this because they have to remain independent. Imagine what sort of reputation they would have in the future post-Trump if they cave. Everyone becomes a victim sooner or later of Trump, and they're not wanting that. So we get manifestation, the Magician, and the Eight of Wands headlines. So there's also, it can also be manipulation as well. But we're going to hear some news fairly soon, and I'm not sure if that's through the courts or which will be important to this question. Be patient, something coming to fruition in time. Now, Five of Pentacles, money loss. This is they're not winning on the money. It's volatility. I don't think, no, these are no cards. I don't think they can win. He'll literally bankrupt them. As it stands now, the decision over foreign students will take away from their viability. There's still a chance, though. This is the potential outcome if they can stabilise their finances. So there's a crossroads here. Once Harvard falls, who else falls? Withholding the money, the Seven of Pentacles. There's still a chance. I'm just going to say there's another route that Harvard can take, and I'm not sure what that is. They've got, according to this, they're losing money hand over fist, and they can't sustain that. But there will be a pause here. There's a lot of grief here, people being locked out, but there will be a pause with the High Court. Okay, it's going to cost Harvard a lot of money. They will, from that point of view, they're not going to win at all. But it looks like there's a High Court decision here which will make a huge difference to to Harvard, and somehow something is paused which gives them an opportunity to have this new start. So a lot of pain and suffering there for Harvard. They're going to dig in. I would hope that some donors come to their aid, because this is I'm not going to say they're going to go bankrupt, but they're pretty terrible cards. But the High Court eventually steps in, and there's an injunction or a pausing, and that allows Harvard to have this new start. So a lot of damage, like everything else. A lot of damage, but not total destruction. All right, where do we want to go now? Let's go to the GOP senators, which have said they can't vote for the bill as it is. We've heard all this before, and, deals are done and eventually they cave. Let's have a look. Will the GOP senators change the bill considerably? Hawley, for example, is grandstanding on Medicaid. We've seen there are cuts to Medicare there as well. The deficit will blow sky high, adding between $3 and $5 million to the budget deficit. Let's have a look. Will the GOP senators change the bill considerably? Will the GOP senators change? Ooh, there's a firing squad. Ooh. Or they may feel they'll be put before a firing squad if they don't. They're defending themselves, like the town halls are still, they're being overcome at town halls by angry mobs. Okay, will the GOP senators change the bill considerably? Because if they do, it has to go back to the House if it's changed too much. Okay, so will now my last reading said the bill would get through. So will the GOP change the bill in positive, beneficial ways? Will the GOP senators get changes to the bill that will benefit constituents? That's probably more to the point. Page of Pentacles. Maybe reducing the cuts it's self-preservation for them, reducing some of the more contentious cuts. The King of Pentacles is in the Foundation, which is my card for Trump. Queen of Swords, I do feel she came up in the outcome. I feel like there's some female senators that are keeping their powder dry and will be influential here as well. The Page of Wands says that they will get some changes, but there's not a lot. It's only a page. We get the Death card, the end of something. Wow. Okay, so Six of Pentacles. The debt here is of concern. Retreat away from that. Mortally wounded in battle. The Knight of Swords, the truth. See, nobody's really had a chance to see everything in that bill. The Devil card. Toxicity, chain to Trump. Boundaries, weariness. It's a good metaphor. Okay. I think they will, but walking away from loss and pausing something. Okay, so there are changes there. They're not huge changes. It looks like they're a chain to the devil. There's boundaries here, but there's also loss, a lot of loss for them. We get the Hanged Man here, pausing something, and then Justice. Okay, so again, I'm happy to say that those contempt things, I hope, come out. I think there's also illegal stuff in there, like stuff that they can't vote on, that is like that wouldn't fly. And then we get moderation, volatility, and then moderation. They are going to make changes. I don't think they're huge changes, but they are going to, including, I think, changes also for youth, and I don't know what that is, but a win for young people there as well. So yeah, and I hope I'm right on the contempt powers, but it looks like they will affect some change. But at the end of the day, they're still chained to Donald Trump, so no one's going to buck them completely. The Death card there, the end of something. There will be something fairly in there that gets stopped. Things that are taken out, cut out. All right. Let's but yeah, it'll still go through. So will it have to go back to the House? I guess if they make too many changes, it has to go back to the House for vote, and I don't think anybody wants that. So I think they more or less might affect some change, but okay, so I'm going to ask again, does the bill go through? Does the bill go through the Senate? Does the bill pass through the Senate without having to go back to the House? Does the bill pass through the Senate without going to the House? Just a few cards. Yeah. Waiting for one ship to come in, foreign investment. We get Three of Swords, broken-hearted. Betrayal, the Wheel of Fortune is change. We get the Death card in the past, the end of something, manipulation, manifestation, Page of Pentacles. Does it pass through the Senate? Yeah, right now it's a I'm going to say a bloodbath there. Some won't recover from this. Like it's the downfall of someone or more. The King of Cups in the hopes and fears, wisdom. And then the outcome is Seven of Cups, illusion and delusion. It's not looking... but then we get a win there. A win and then restriction. And then the truth. Okay, so does it go through? There's that Page of Wands there. It does end up going through, but it's sort of like a lot is still hidden in the final bill, and the Nine of Pentacles, the tax cuts. Yeah, the tax cuts go through. Okay, so it might be they, someone like Rand Paul just gets sidelined on the deficit. It might be that they fiddle around the edges with the Medicare changes, Medicaid changes. There is both Medicaid and Medicare changes, okay? So I am aware of the difference. It seems like they get some stuff that's good or appears to be good, but it is only illusionary because I don't think that deficit gets reined in, and that's really irresponsible. Okay. Because of the economic situation. And this will, again, add on to people fearing recession, perhaps the reality of a recession occurring in the US. All right, so I want to go to... Okay, I said I would read on Musk. Will he ever become... Let's see, will Musk ever become a sworn enemy? Because I'm pretty sure he's got a lot of not pretty sure, I know he's got a lot of government contracts, so he doesn't want to upset Trump too much. He's being very diplomatic, but the guy is ruined, and he's done it to himself. He won't accept blame for what he's done. We saw him, take away people's livelihoods, get on a stage with a chainsaw and make a mockery out of that while people were becoming ruined because of him. Meanwhile, he sees the graft and the corruption in the government and no reduction of the deficit. So he's been exposed. Can his businesses recover without this massive government assistance? He now has to go to court as part of the Doge lawsuits. He has to go to court. Again, what happens to those around Trump? Eventually they all have to pay a price. Okay, so Elon Musk, are you ever going to become a sworn? He's closing the curtains on a lot of things now. He's been given, because I see the words the gift, he's been given what he wanted out of for his investment. Those lawsuits have gone away. The Biden era lawsuits have gone away. So he's got what he wants and he's closing the curtain. But that won't stop tariffs, the volatility of the economy from burning him, the destruction of goodwill toward him. That's not going away. For the first time ever, BYD, the Chinese manufactured electric car and design car, overtook Tesla sales in Europe. So, okay, why am I seeing the Sphinx here? Egypt. Why am I seeing Egypt? Egypt, the Middle East. I'm not sure why I'm seeing Egypt, but anyway, I am, or it could be a metaphor for the Middle East. So he is still entwined in that whole Trump thing. I don't think he's going to become a full-blown enemy, but he is closing the curtain on any kind of overt involvement now, backing away. So, will Elon Musk ever become a sworn enemy of Trump? Maybe further down the track. Further down the track, does he become a fully fledged open enemy of Trump? So the Magician, manipulation, manifestation, and that's division. Manipulation, manifestation of division. Woo, complete and utter downfall for Musk. Sorry, but those cards were there right from the start, weren't they? Just after the election. Cool. The Moon card, a lot from underneath the surface, a lot of volatility, chaos, lunacy. The Ace of Pentacles, money always determines everything, doesn't it? But he's losing money, and he's going to lose some more money. And that's really what Trump is trying to make up for by forcing overseas countries to take out Starlink. There's an offer here, and then we get the Ten of Cups, families. I think Trump's trying to repair things, but he's lost a lot of money. And the Queen of Cups, something gets let out of the bag. Something coming to fruition in time. 2 years, perhaps. There we have it. The Chariot. This is outcome. The Sphinx. This is the outcome cards. These are both yes cards. He becomes a sworn enemy of Trump in time. The Two of Wands. Be patient because it's going to happen. It looks like 2 years maybe. Oh yeah, he has a plan. It's the only way he's going to recover if he goes to literally the other side. It's not right now. It's maybe after the midterms. I don't know, but he is definitely going to become a sworn enemy. Moving out of troubled waters, taking the first tentative steps, moving away, the anxiety here. Seven of Pentacles, having to come up with new plans, abuse, and it's inevitable. It's inevitable. So something will occur. Maybe it's after the midterms, 2026, that he moves away from him big time. I don't know, maybe to save his own skin. Can we see some tribunals happening here? Some sort of commission where he gives evidence on something. Anyway, okay. I want to go to Putin's nuclear missiles. So basically, what's happening now is the Danish press and the German press have uncovered or have leaked intelligence from Russia that show Putin has massive nuclear missiles, bases, constructed bases. This would have been over a decade of work, while all these nuclear proliferation treaties and disarmament laws, international laws existed. What has Putin, mainly between, the US was brokering these. What has Putin been doing over all that time is amassing, it's the biggest nuclear arsenal in existence. It's massive. I'll post it. I posted it on my Facebook page. I'll post it to Blue Sky. Pardon me. I'll probably do a community post so you can see the extent of his nuclear missile bases and locations, and it's he can reach European cities within 10 minutes with nuclear missiles. So no wonder the man is just going hell for leather in Ukraine. It's a terrible thing that Europe has taken a back seat in their own defence over the last decade, relying on America. Putin captured the leader of America, and I mean captured in every way. Europe can no longer rely on the US under this particular government, and Europe is a sitting duck. All right, so the question is, Putin's nuclear missiles, the extent of them is gobsmacking. I mean, honestly, can Europe control Putin's nuclear risk? Can Europe control Putin's nuclear risk? Patchwork of bases and missiles, and God, it's almost like, okay, can Europe control Putin's nuclear risk? So we have the Ten of Pentacles. Obviously, they're putting a lot of money into defence now, and we get the Sun card. That's good. That's good. That's good. They're arming up. Germany has awoken against an enemy now, a new enemy. The new enemy is Russia. But there's a lot of anxiety. That's at the foundation of the reading. The past we've had again, not putting enough money into their own defences, relying on America. The past is going against them right now. We get the Page of Swords. Okay, so they're going to rattle their sabres in the immediate future. They're putting a hell of a lot of money into their own defence and nuclear. It's not good for any of us that this is occurring. 3, England, France, Germany, circles of support. Okay, so they're coming together, and we get the Lovers card. Relationships, really strong relationships. So they see the way forward as unity, EU unity. The UK, France and Germany are the leaders here. Canada's coming in, and obviously places like India too. That's interesting. What they need to do is make some more friends, more friends with Chinese, the Chinese government, because the one person that could control Putin's nuclear use of nuclear weaponry would be China. Okay, the Ten of Swords, because I think I was about a year ago, I saw China had some kind of space weapon that they had been working on and deployed for over a period of time that nobody really knew the extent of its abilities or capabilities. Ten of Swords is complete and utter downfall. They obviously are looking for a leader post Putin of Russia, someone that they can maybe trust a little bit more. Now we have Retreat, Wounded in Battle, and it's Trump that has done this to them. But we have mobilising and wanting to I guess, become more self-sufficient. He's going to pull, I know he said he's going to pull troops out, but ending NATO, he's so complicit, so integrated and entwined with Putin. Taco man. Trump always backs down. The Emperor, control. They are starting to take control, but we have volatility. It looks like Putin in that moon, and the Hierophant, a higher authority. Okay, so there've been more to. I'm not going to say that it's irrevocable, but what Trump has done to them has been a huge, utter blow. However, they are starting to stand on their own 2 feet and to counter this threat. It looks like they're going to be stronger because of Trump or in spite of Trump. They know they can't rely on America. So can they? Right now, no. Right now, no. Not at all. But they are starting to sow the seeds of being able to control Putin. They still need the US support. All right, so, and I'm pretty sure that the Trump government would be reminding them of this in their trade battle. Okay, so right now, no, they can't control that threat. All right. Will Europe be able to control Putin's threat in the future? So some sort of hope. Will Europe be able to control the threat in the future? Okay, victory. I like that. The past. Okay, victory and the past. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Thank you, Spirit. Through unity, they do unify. Yeah, there's the missiles. They will be able to, but we get volatility, things coming to the surface. The Hierophant card, and the Ten of Swords. Hope. I asked for hope, And yes, King of Cups. I do feel that moderation, temperance, healing. Yes, justice. Yes, they do. I do feel this is a different American president in 2028 as well. I don't think Europe will go back to what they were doing in the past. I think they continue to, rearm, mobilise, take on the threats, work hard to defend themselves. I think all of that occurs. But I think that from 2028 we start to get more stability from the US here. These are very volatile years for everyone. Okay, I talked about something shifting in September in my last reading. June, July, August are very, very volatile months. I'll make no bones about that. But something is something. I guess it's the fallout from the budget. That's my guess. And then something shifts in September. Many of you have said, oh, that's this or that's that, to do with the election 2024. No, that's not what I'm seeing. What I saw was this is budget fallout and something shifts for him. Could be economic downturn, create something. He gets overwhelmed by September and I don't know, something happens in September, but it is due to the economy, to the fallout from the budget. It's maybe people have just had enough by then, but there is a shift in the political landscape heading into 2026 and the midterms, and it's irrefutable, an irrefutable shift. Maybe he gets justice eventually. Maybe the GOP senators take back their power. Maybe he can't set tariffs anymore. Maybe he gets more limits and boundaries. But by September, things have shifted considerably. Okay. What happens in September, please? What is this shift to do with? Show me what happens in September. What is this shift to do with? Okay, so we have here the Queen of Cups. Care, something being let out, the truth being let out of the bag. We've got a lot of truth being let out of the bag, but this is something major. The Eight of Pentacles, it's the mismanagement, this kind of apprenticeship stuff, not a master. Illusion and delusion in the past, and then the truth. The truth is emerging, and we have victory here. Basically, by September, it's a victory for the truth. It's a bombshell here. And then we get the world, endings and beginnings. Oh, my God. Moving out of troubled waters. It is a significant shift. The Five of Cups is, it comes through his mismanagement, it's the budget, like it goes as low as it's so, I'm not going to say it's so bad, but whatever happens, it's so tough for people that there is just like with that absolute, it all come, the chickens, there's that saying, the chickens come home to roost, and that's really what I want to say. It's to do with the economy, the fallout from maybe the dollar crashing, the bond market going sky high, nobody wanting to buy US debt, the mismanagement, there's a period by September that it all comes home to everyone, what is happening. And then you get people who will start to betray him. And people, the GOP walking away from, this is them. Okay, so, we get some things, they're not following along blindly anymore. Okay, I'll leave that there because this is getting rather long, and I'll be back next week with a new reading. Thank you for tuning in.